Hello everyone, I'm Cesar and I'm back with another video for Path of Exile. And this is another build. This time is a Winter Orb Occultist. So Winter Orb is one of my favorite skills in the game because I really enjoy the playstyle. This is a channeling skill that auto-fires and has good range. It synergizes really well with Occultist. And at a certain point, you will have enough damage and AoE that you will basically start one-shotting everything in maps. Now, this build can get really expensive when you're trying to min-max, because it's quite popular and people really like Winter. This version is on a 20 to 25 divine budget, but it has a lot of room for improvement, if you have the currency. So this is the PoB. You can find it on the description of the video. So with Winter Orb, something really important to scale is AoE, or Area of Effect. As you can see here, my AoE radius is 28, which is nice. You need to get it to around this level, 28, 29 if you can. The more AoE that you have, the better Winter Orb will feel. So to scale AoE, we get some from our Ascendancy with Forbidden Power, increase AoE per power charge, so we are stacking power charges as well. We get some from the passive tree, with these points right here, and these points here as well. We get some from the medium cluster jewels, with Vast Power and Towering Threat. We need 2 Vast Power nodes, so we get the 50% maximum. And also Towering Threat has life, which is super nice. And then the other bit of AoE we get from our flask, Dying Sun, which is a very good flask for this build because we also get 2 additional projectiles, which is a lot of damage. You can get a bit more of AoE with Forbidden Flame and Flesh jewels. Currently I have Mastermind of Discord, which is this one, which gives us the 25% minus resistances and some mana regen, which is nice, and it's also very cheap. Both jewels are... I paid 1 divine for both, so 1 divine in total for the 2 jewels. So it's very cheap compared to the upgrade, which is Heart of Destruction. It's super good because we get AoE when we don't have Convergence. We get Convergence when we hit a unique enemy, which is 30% more elemental damage. But the problem is that this is a very expensive combination of jewels. Yes, I think in total it's like 30 or 40 divines, depending on, or even more, depending on the time of the league. So yeah. Also, in the PoB, we have some nodes here, basically extra information for leveling the pantheons, which are actually important if you go low life, which I did. I went low life in this version with Petrified Blood, basically to use Pain Attunement, which is 30% more spell damage, which is very good as well. But anyway, yeah, the lab order, avoid these map mods, some upgrades for our ring, which are expensive. Pretty much all of them, especially +1 power charge rings, are very expensive. And other upgrades, which most are expensive at this point in the build. And also the budget, which I said 20 to 25 divines, with current price. So, as I mentioned, I went low life with Petrified Blood. You can skip this if you want, because it gives you some problems that you need to solve. You see, when you go low life, one of the big problems is damage over time. We're vulnerable to damage over time, so things that we can do is getting the Pantheons, Soul of Aracali, a lot of damage over time resistance, and also Soul of Abrara for less Ignite and Burning Ground, which is always annoying. And something that I would probably work on is getting your Chaos Resistance a bit higher. With a Chaos Resistance roll somewhere, maybe with the Chaos Resistance ring as a base. And probably rest on the belt, maybe on the gloves. So yeah, that is a problem to fix. The damage over time. And also you need a bit of extra mana reservation. Because Health of Ice is reserved in our life. Because with Arrogant support, it is exactly 50% cost of life, so we are low life. And the rest of the auras fit in the mana. And so for what I did is basically run double Enlighten, one here with all the big auras, and one here with Verified Blood. And then also for the two small mana reservation clusters, get the 25% increase effect. So we get the 7% mana reservation. And lastly, one more mana reservation roll on one of your jewels. This one for me in particular. And of course, this one right here for the mana reservation. And also talking about the damage over time, it's kind of important to get a Corrupted Blood immunity jewel. Because you can have Corrupted Blood immunity on your flask, but you will die really fast. So you don't really have much reaction time. So yeah, it's important to get one. Here it is, I found it. Look for crit multi, life, stats, mana reservation if you can. All those good, nice stats. And then, talking about the gear, the body armor of course important with spell crit, additional curse, and the double curse on hit rings with the graph for channeling skills, reduce mana cost. Both of our rings are curse on hit. If you don't have the curse on hit rings, what you can do is run the curses with Arcanist Brand. But that will be more for single target, of course. Then frenzy charges from our body armor as well, because we have Badge of the Brotherhood, so we have in total 10 power charges, 10 frenzy charges. The power charges we get them from Power Charge on Crit and Decency and a lot of other places. Frenzy charges from the body armor. The helmet, Blister Crown is nice with the double influence and the +1 power charge. Double batteries and Dying Sun important. And then the flasks. With these flasks I actually cap my crit. I almost have 100% crit chance. And also a lot of the crit multi comes from increased critical damage support, which is actually better than Awakened added cold damage at level 5. And yeah, that is the build, alright? So I hope you enjoy it if you decide to try it. I think it's a very nice build. You can do bosses as well, important. I use this build to kill my Uber Elder that I needed for the Wedgestone, so yeah, I can definitely do bosses. Even Ubers if you're very good at dodging the skills, but the problem is that this build is not tanky enough for Ubers. That is the main problem. But the damage is there, especially with some of the upgrades. Alright, so yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.